The Chiefs just got a fantastic injury update on wide receiver Xavier Worthy. He suffered a dislocated shoulder against the Chargers in Brazil, and we thought that he was going to be out a pretty substantial amount of time, but less than a week after he suffered a pretty serious injury in a foreign country, he's already back on the practice field. So we've got a ton of good news to get to in this video, but if you guys are new here, my name is Michael Darcy, and you're listening to the KC Sports Report. Do me a big time favor and go check us out on Apple and Spotify. We just got on those podcasting platforms, and I'm super excited. But I'm also super excited to get into the massive news that we got earlier on this afternoon, that wide receiver Xavier Worthy is back on the Chiefs practice field. According to Matt McMullen, who is the Chiefs senior beat reporter, Jalen Royals didn't practice with that knee tendonitis, and he's probably not going to play on Sunday. But everybody else, including Xavier Worthy, got some work in some capacity. Now, we did find out from Pete Sweeney of the Kansas City Star that Xavier Worthy was officially listed as a limited guy in practice on Thursday, which is likely trending to a questionable status for the game, but we'll know more on Friday. So, first and foremost, the news that Xavier Worthy is back on the practice field to begin with is unbelievable. Like, the fact that he was in a foreign country less than a week ago, his shoulder popped out of socket, you saw the trainer on the sideline mouth that this wasn't good, he didn't go back to the game, and he's already back on the practice field and for the most part is able to participate in practice. Now again, he's still limited, but I also want to pull up this tweet from Sam McDowell, also of the Kansas City Star, that he was out there in practice with a little bit of extra padding on that shoulder. And this is an injury that Xavier Worthy is going to have to deal with, likely for the rest of the season, because listen, when you're, when you're 170 pounds, 160 pounds, when your shoulder pops out of socket, that's something that's probably going to require surgery in the off season. But we heard Andy Reid earlier this week in his press conference very adamantly say that they didn't think that they would have to go the surgery route and that Worthy probably wasn't going to go on IR. Now, he could still go on IR. I want to make that abundantly clear. Just because he's practicing right now doesn't mean that maybe the Chiefs are just trying to throw the Eagles off and he really isn't ready to go at all. And I don't think that he's going to play on Sunday, but I think that he's trending towards coming back in week 3 against the Giants. But when I look at this injury, I mean, the Chiefs might have dodged a bullet. You saw Hollywood Brown last year fall on his shoulder, get surgery, and miss basically the entirety of the 2024 season. So the fact that Xavier Worthy, got hit on that friendly fire mesh route by Travis Kelce, and he's only going to be out maybe a week, depending on what happens with the IR status. I don't think he's going to get put on IR, but I just want to tell you guys that it is a possibility. And I'll just go ahead and show you what Xavier Worthy's looking like on the practice field. Again, very limited reps, but he's using his legs, using that speed, and catching the football. And again, you can't take too much into practice, but to see him out there at all at this stage after the injury, that's an incredibly good sign. So I do want to hear from you guys down in the comment section below what you think of the Xavier Worthy injury and how long he might end up missing. I think that he's probably going to miss this Sunday against the Eagles. I don't want to get completely over my skis by saying that he is going to play on Sunday. I think that you're still going to be without Royals and you're still going to be without, Worthy. But those guys should be on their way back. And that is incredibly encouraging because, when the Chiefs initially lost Xavier Worthy, we all thought the worst. We thought, oh no, it's happening again. We just lost our number 1 wide receiver for the second straight year, also against the Chargers, also from friendly fire. So there's kind of a weird correlation between the Chiefs hurting their own wide receivers against the Chargers. Last year, it was Mahomes running into Rashee Rice, tearing his knee up and just ending his season. So, now that we've got that behind us, the hope is that Xavier Worthy is, good to come back sooner rather than later. And like you saw in the video and like you saw from McDowell's tweet, he's probably going to have that brace on his shoulder for the remainder of the season. I don't know why, they would be careless with a guy that had his shoulder completely come out of socket. And again, this is probably going to require some form of surgery in the offseason. But the important thing is that he's not going to miss the season. He's going to come back at some point. But, we might have to wait another week. But I do want to talk more about what the Chiefs might do with both of these wide receivers. And we'll do that right after this ad break. This video is sponsored by my wonderful friends over at DM Injury Law. Injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation, but time is critical. Rely on the experienced personal injury attorneys at DM Law, Kansas City and Missouri's top injury law firm. DM Law is a full-service personal injury practice supported by a large team of investigators, case managers, medical records specialists, and more. And best of all, you don't pay unless they win. DM Law operates on a contingency fee basis, so no fees unless they win your case. And they also provide free consultations. So if you've been injured, don't wait. You can contact DM Law today for a free consultation and learn how they can help you pursue the compensation you deserve. Let them handle the fight while you focus on healing. Hurt in a car wreck? Call Mike. Remember, Mike's got this. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement. Thanks to DM Injury Law for sponsoring this video. The Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway is the place to be. With over 1,500 slot machines, 35 table games, 4 restaurants, and a new ESPN Bet Sportsbook, there are plenty of ways to find your fun. For more chances to win, follow them on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Huge thanks to the sponsors that have supported me all throughout the offseason, now getting into the regular season. But I think that what the Chiefs' ultimate plan is with both Xavier Worthy and Jalen Royals is to have them come back week 3 against the Giants. I think they've been very cautious with bringing Royals back from that knee tendonitis, and there's really no point in rushing him. But I think that the way that both guys are close to coming back is Royals and Worthy didn't get put on IR. And when you get put on IR, you have to be gone for a minimum of 4 games. And so by the Chiefs not giving that status to either one of those players, you have to think that their return is very close by. That they're not just going to waste away and then next week put either of these guys on IR. Now, it's still possible for Worthy. I don't think it's remotely possible for Royals, but I do think we're going to see both guys back probably week 3, week 4 at the latest. But again, I think that both are probably out for the Sunday matchup against the Eagles, which sucks because, you need as much wide receiver talent as you can get going up against a very good Philly defense that has some holes on the back end, but for the most part, that pass rush is good, and they've got a lot of talent. It's just very young. But I do want to show this thing that Xavier Worthy put on his Instagram story. He said free one, and it's just a photo of him, but I think that he's just chomping at the bit and ready to go, and so hopefully we see him in the next couple weeks. But I do want to hear from you guys down in the comment section below. What do you think of this fantastic news that Xavier Worthy is back on the practice field and practicing in some limited capacity? Again, I don't think he's going to play this weekend, but I think when we first saw that injury, we all thought, oh my gosh, he's going to be out the entire season, or he's going to miss, a huge chunk of it. But it seems like the Chiefs have dodged a bullet, at least at the time of this recording. But that's all I've got for this video, guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more daily Chiefs content. Go check out the podcast on Apple and Spotify. Thank you guys for listening and watching. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching this video. And as always, go Chiefs.